Hi fellow chess players, and welcome to today's puzzle video. For the month of June, I will be uploading on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the weekends. All my videos will be premiered, so do turn on notifications to look out for them. Now, here's a famous chess quote from Grandmaster David Bronstein. He said, "It is my style to take my opponent and myself on to unknown grounds." A game of chess is not an examination of knowledge. It is a battle of nerves. I hope you liked that quote. Here's today's puzzle. It is from a game between Grandmaster Ni Hua and Grandmaster Le Quang Lim. I will not be revealing the year the game was played, it's between 2010 and now, so take a guess for a shoutout in the next video. The rating of this insane puzzle is 3774, one of the hardest puzzles on chess.com. Black sacrificed a pawn, knight, rook and queen for a winning endgame. There are many lines, so I will try my best to cover the major ones. In the game, white blundered with the move pawn to g6, with the intention of cutting off black's light squared bishop's diagonal and threatening queen takes h7 checkmate. As such, until the threat of checkmate is cleared, every move black plays will have to be a check. I'll let you have 25 seconds to think for this puzzle, it's much harder than normal ones. Okay, so did you find the brilliant bishop move? Bishop to a3 check attacks the white king, and white has three options. King takes b3, king to a1 or king to c3. The best response is in fact king takes b3. King to a1 allows pawn to b2 check, and white can either play queen takes b2 or king takes a2. King takes a2 is a checkmate in 4 for black, after bishop to c5, opening up the a-file and creating a discovered check from the rook. White has to play king takes b2, as capturing the rook with the knight only loses after rook to a8 checkmate. Back to the position after king takes b2, queen takes b6 check is followed by king to c1, and here black plays bishop takes e3 check. White can either block with the rook or queen, but both moves still allow queen to b1 or rook to a1, both of which are checkmates, or even rook takes c4 checkmate after queen to d2. So, this is my analysis for the king to a1 line on move 2. If you are getting lost in the analysis, not to worry, even I get stuck when analyzing all these lines. You could slow down the playback speed, pause the video to think, go back to an earlier position, or even run the position on your own analysis board. Okay, time for the king c3 line. This move is even worse, and here, black can play pawn to a1 and promote to a queen with check. White's best response is actually not to capture and retreat with king to d2, as capturing with rook takes a1 leads to an epic mating sequence. Rook takes c4 is played, and although there are two ways it can be taken, declining the rook is best. Capturing it with the knight is countered by queen to b4 checkmate. And capturing with the king is a mate in 4 after queen to a6 check. King takes b3, queen to d3 check, forcing king to a2, and now bishop to b4, discovered check, and forcing knight takes a8, and now queen to a3 is checkmate. Back to the position after the rook sacrifice. White plays king takes b3. And now knight to d4 check. Bishop takes d4. Bishop to c2 check. Queen takes c2. Rook to b4 check. King to c3. Queen takes f3 check. Queen to d3 blocking the check. E takes d4 check, king to d2, rook to b2 check, queen to c2, bishop to b4 check, king to c1 is forced, rook takes a1 check, king takes b2 and queen to a3 is checkmate. What a mate in 12. So, I will go back to the aforementioned king to d2, on move 3. Bishop to b4 check is followed by king to e2, and now bishop takes f3 check grabs more material with check, and after king to f2, rook to a2 check is the best response. King to g3 is followed by rook takes h2, and here recapturing with rook takes h2 is a much better response for white, as it prevents checkmate. However, the engine does not see this line at depth 18. Even so, after bishop takes d1, black is up 2 queens and a bishop. Knight to d5 leads to mate after bishop takes h1. G takes h7 check. King recaptures on h7. Rook takes a1. Rook to g2 check. King to f3. Pawn to e4 check. King takes e4. Rook takes c4 check. King to e5. Rook to g5 check. Sacrificing the rook for checkmate, bishop takes g5, queen takes d5 check, king to f6 is forced, queen takes g5 check, king takes f7 is once again forced, then queen g6 is a nice checkmate. Finally, as you can see from the analyses of king to a1 and king to c3, both moves have variations that either lead to checkmate or loss of material. The best variation so far still gives black a 51.4 advantage, with an extra bishop and 2 queens. So, white's best response has to be king takes b3. Here, black has to foresee this critical move pawn to a1 and an underpromotion to a knight. Of course, not promotion to a queen, as white can simply checkmate us in one move. After the promotion, white has to capture. King a2 allows mate in 2 after the discovery bishop to c1 check, and after knight takes a8 we have the nice queen to b1 checkmate, or even queen to a6 checkmate. King to c3 is slightly better, but still loses to rook takes c4 check, king to d2, rook to c2 check, king to e1, rook takes h2, knight to c2 check, with a strong material advantage for black. Back to the main line, after white captures the newly promoted knight, queen takes b6 is played, and the engine does not even see this move. Right after it's played, the evaluation bar immediately shows an advantage for black again. Now, knight to d4 is played. White's rook is no longer on d1, so here, white can only move his king to c3. Bishop takes d4 blunders a mate in 4. With the mating sequence rook c to b8 check, king to c3, bishop to b4 check, king to b2, bishop to d2 discovered check, bishop to b6 and then rook takes b6 checkmate. Back to king to c3, now black throws another piece into the action, with rook takes c4, which we have seen in many other variations. Capturing hangs a mate in 2, with rook to c8 check, bishop to c7 followed by rook takes c7 checkmate. Instead, white responds with king to d2, white's only legal king move. Now, the final move played in the game is knight takes f3 with a royal fork, attacking white's king and queen. White resigned, foreseeing the resulting trades. After the series of best moves, black is left with an extra bishop and 2 pawns with an easy endgame win. This was by far the hardest puzzle yet, with over 1400 words in the script. If you have any feedback, suggestions or puzzles you want to share, do let me know in the comments section. Once again, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you enjoyed. See you in the next video. And feel free to check out our other videos too.